This episode of the Tolkien Road is made possible by To Middle-earth and Back Again, a new companion journal and devotional by Caitlin Fascista of Tea with Tolkien. Chapter by chapter, grow in hobbitness and holiness as you reflect on major themes, quotes, and characters from The Lord of the Rings. To Middle-earth and Back Again explores Tolkien's Catholic faith and the influence it had on his writings, inspiring you to reflection and action as you seek to carry the spirit of Middle-earth into your own daily lives through journaling prompts, discussion topics, and tangible action items. Journey alongside Frodo, Samwise, and the other members of the Fellowship of the Ring as they each play their parts in the War of the Ring. And as they come to the final chapters of their tale, you may find yourself altogether changed as well. For more information, head on over to teawithtolkien.com/book. Once again, that's teawithtolkien.com/book. The Tolkien Road, Episode 149, The Hobbit, Chapter 6, Out of the Frying Pan into the Fire. All right, go ahead. The Tolkien Road, 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 the Tolkien Road. Hey there, fellow travelers. Welcome to the Tolkien Road, a long walk through Middle-earth. On this episode, we continue our journey through The Hobbit with Chapter 6, Out of the Frying Pan into the Fire. Before we get started, please head on over to iTunes and leave the Tolkien Road a rating and feedback. It's a great way to show your support for the show and takes less than a minute. You can also stop by TolkienRoad.com, learn about previous episodes, and say hey. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/TolkienRoad and on Twitter via @TolkienRoad. Thanks for listening and enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tolkien Road. You are now listening to The Hobbit, Chapter 6, Out of the Frying Pan into the Fire. Greta, what's up?
Hey. Not much. What's up with you?
Not too much.
All right.
All right, now that we got that out of the way.
Yep.
Special thanks to our executive producer, Sharon Burgess.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you indeed, Sharon. Yeah, so we're discussing The Hobbit, Chapter 6 now. Episode 149, closing in on 150 episodes.
Oh, my golly.
Yeah.
How can that be possible?
It's just old hat for us now.
I guess so. Yeah.
Right. Just staying at it.
Just grinding.
Just grinding it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's cool, though.
I guess.
Totes cool.
Just keeping it real. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
I don't know. I'm not worried about being cool. I'm just worried about, doing it, right? Making it happen.
Well, I personally am concerned about being cool.
Okay, well.
So it's cool. Okay?
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So, out of the frying pan into the fire, leaving old Gollum behind under the Misty Mountains, screaming about hating Bilbo forever.
And his precious being lost.
Yes.
Forever.
I thought that guy was kind of a loser. So
Who, Gollum?
Yeah. Good to leave him behind.
Well, yeah, he was kind of a drag.
Mm-hmm. And he wanted to eat Bilbo.
Yeah.
I have a policy of not hanging out with people who want to eat me.
It's probably a good policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bilbo escapes because he's wearing the ring. He gets out of the mountain past the goblin guards.
Right.
And right now, he's by himself. We open the chapter 6 and he's by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Let me find my spot here because I'm a bookmark in the wrong place. Whoops. All right. Yeah, so he says, "Good heavens, I seem to have got right to the other side of the Misty Mountains, right to the edge of the land beyond. Where and oh where can Gandalf and the dwarves have got to? I only hope to goodness they are not still back there in the power of the goblins." So he keeps on moving away from the mountains themselves. The smart thing is to get away from the goblins.
Right.
He has the ring on, so they can't see him, but, even so, he doesn't want to take his chances, right? So he keeps moving, and he does stumble upon them, right? He stumbles upon Gandalf and the dwarves, and he kind of is able to overhear, because he's still got his ring on, he's able to overhear their conversation.
Right.
And they are arguing about, really, what good is this Hobbit fella anyway to us.
Right, because some want to stay or
Mm-hmm.
go back and look for him, right? And others want to just move on.
Yeah.
I think mostly only Gandalf wants to stay and look for him. Am I right?
Yeah. Gandalf says, "After all, he is my friend, and not a bad little chap. I feel responsible for him. I wish to goodness you had not lost him." So I think, I think this is one of the perils of having an invisibility ring, is that you can overhear conversations,
That maybe you shouldn't.
right? That
Overhear.
people don't intend for you to overhear necessarily.
Yeah. It's also the peril of eavesdropping.
Yes.
Eavesdropping, not a good thing either.
No.
Whether you're invisible or not.
You see what happens to Sam when he eavesdrops in The Lord of the Rings, right? He gets
Oh, yeah.
he gets pulled into everything
That's exactly right.
just for eavesdropping.
Public service announcement. Don't eavesdrop.
Don't do it,
Even if you're not wearing an invisibility ring.
baby. Don't you do it? Don't do it. Don't you break my heart? Please don't eavesdrop.
I was wondering how you're going to fit eavesdrop into that.
Don't you drop the eaves? Please don't do it.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, that's my little song.
How lovely.
Not really my little song. I forget who it's by, but I know the band covered it.
I was going to say, I thought it was the band.
Well,
Wasn't theirs originally?
it's not their original song. I'm trying to think. I want to say Marvin Gaye, but I actually don't think that's right. But it might be who originally wrote the song. But now I got to look it up, because now I'm going to feel bad if I don't give proper credit where proper credit is due.
As you should.
Yeah.
You should feel
Oh,
bad
well,
for
that
not giving
won't tell me.
proper
Don't do
credit.
it. That will probably not yield. Oh, goodness. What was that? That's not what I'm looking for.
Baby, there it is. Don't
Yeah,
you do
it is by Marvin Gaye. 1964
you
single
shouldn't
by
have doubted
American singer Marvin Gaye.
yourself. I always get Marvin Gaye and Lionel Richie and Smokey Robinson mixed up. Don't ask me why.
Well, I mean, Smokey Robinson and Marvin Gaye kind of existed in the same time period, but then Marvin Gaye had he kind of had a comeback in the early '80s, the same time Lionel Richie was becoming.
Oh, well, that makes me
I think,
feel
kinda
better.
getting big. But
Okay.
Lionel Richie had, what was it? I think, was he with the Commodores?
Yes,
I think
sounds
in
right.
the '70s. I think that's right. But
think that's
anyway,
right.
so it's
It's understandable.
it's understandable if
Okay.
it's not like if you're not really into that genre. If it's not like you spend all your time thinking about it, but
Right.
you get different artists mixed up happens.
Well, thanks for making me feel better about myself.
Yeah, well,
All right.
I'm glad I could help.
Shall we get back on the road?
Back on
off of this rabbit trail?
the road that goes ever on.
Okay, let's
All right.
do it.
So,
So Bilbo's overhearing a conversation he's not meant to hear. And he probably feels kind of bad about himself, right?
kind of crummy.
Yeah, kind of crummy.
Kind of crummy.
I'd feel crummy if I heard people saying things like this about me. I would probably just run away and say, who needs you guys? I'm going home. Later.
Forget you, losers.
Exactly.
I didn't want to help you anyway. But they have got another thing coming.
You know they do.
They have got another thing coming.
Bilbo,
First
that
of
old
all,
trickster.
I mean, if I was Bilbo, I wouldn't really care about it. If Gandalf thought I was cool and everybody else didn't, I would be like, that's good enough for me.
That is a great point.
Yeah.
That is a really good point.
I didn't want to be liked by you grumpy dwarves anyway.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So
yeah.
there.
So Gandalf likes me. So what? That's all that matters.
But at one point, following all this, he just decides to kind of jump out and be like, hey, here I am.
Surprise!
Right?
Yep.
And here's the burglar. They actually say confusticate him, and that's what gets him to jump out.
That's right. Confustigate him.
And here's the burglar, said Bilbo, stepping down into the middle of them and slipping off the ring. So he surprises them, and now, when they learn that he's actually managed to not only escape, but on his own, but get a treasure, that kind of lifts him up a little bit in their eyes.
It does, yeah.
Right?
Changes their tune a bit.
Maybe this guy actually is a burglar.
Maybe he's good for something after all.
So, that's good. That's
So
good
then
for
they're all
Bilbo.
like, oh yeah, sorry, Bilbo. We didn't say anything bad about you. We were just, trying to get a rise out of Gandalf. We didn't mean any of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah. So now we're all friends again.
Yeah. I got to say about this chapter, I feel like This is a chapter. It's hard to find things to discuss.
It's kind of a long chapter, though.
I'm gonna kind of, as I was planning out our episode for this chapter, I'm like, it is. That's the thing. It's a long chapter, right?
Yeah.
But as I was planning it out, I was like, there's not a lot to like kind of dive deeply into.
It's a bit superficial. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it's superficial. I would never call anything that Tolkien did superficial.
I wouldn't think so.
Trying to put words in my mouth.
Never.
Trip me up.
Never.
Unbelievable.
Well,
you're
then
worse. You're worse than Saruman.
Oh, dang! Them fighting words.
Mm-hmm.
You better watch yourself before you break yourself. Anyway.
Chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
So now you can't even hear what I'm saying correctly.
You don't even know.
You have no idea.
Yeah. So the point I was trying to make is just that there is, it's a little bit difficult in this chapter to find substantive things to talk about. There are a few things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But this might end up being a little bit of a shorter episode.
I was going to say, are you trying to justify all of our rabbit trails? Is that what you're doing?
Hey, I'm just enjoying the conversation here.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So,
I'm just following the road.
Look, if you don't like it, you can leave.
No, I'm good. I'm actually enjoying myself immensely.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I actually prefer chapters where there's not a whole lot to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have to think as hard.
Thinking is hard work.
I can just relax and have fun. And say whatever comes to my mind. Well, within reason. Anyway.
Maybe I should let you lead this chapter in all seriousness then.
No, it's been
I kind of feel the pressure. I'm like, okay, Carswell, you got to come up with some things to talk about. You got people counting on you. People that are binge listening, waiting for you to come up with great insights. Come on, you can do it, man. Don't you got anything? Come on, can't you figure out the significance of what Bilbo says right there? Come on, man. You can do it. And I'm like, no, I can't.
Why is Ben Stiller in my brain right now?
Oh, maybe that was a little bit of like Zoolander voice or something.
Was it Zoolander? Or maybe it was like how he treats the Globo Gym people.
Oh, yeah. Globo Gym and Dodgeball.
And Dodgeball.
Yeah, that's an awesome movie.
It's so good. But he does that, right? Doesn't he beat down the people at the gym?
Well, no, he
to try and get them to do better.
Well, I think what it is he's like always on the TV, like at Globo Gym, and he's like, hey, Helen, looking good. Nice set of squat thrusts that time, right? He says stuff like that.
I thought he was saying basically trying to encourage them in a backwards way to do better, which is what you were just doing to yourself. But maybe I'm not thinking of it.
Well, I was saying encouraging things.
Well,
you
were, but you were saying them in kind of like a demeaning way, like you were putting yourself down in a way. Can't you think of anything to say about this? Come on, you loser.
I didn't call myself a loser.
Well,
Hold on here.
You were thinking it.
I only ever call other people losers.
Okay.
Not myself.
Strict policy.
Yes.
In addition to not hanging out with people that want to eat you.
Yes.
Only call other people losers.
You can call that, we're slowly creating John's 11 commandment.
Number 1, do not hang out with people who want to eat you. Number 2.
That's actually not only number 1, but it's the 11th commandment as well.
Oh, it's 1 and 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an important one. So
it's like
a
sandwich. It sandwiches all the others.
Because it's about people eating you.
Right.
So it's appropriate
it would be a sandwich. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. All right. I wonder how many people are still listening.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, you made a list.
Maybe they want to lead this episode.
Maybe. I would gladly lead it, except it's been a couple weeks since I read the chapter, and I don't quite remember enough to lead it.
Oh, great.
So, surely you made a list. Yes, you always make lists of things to talk about. So, what's next on the list? And we'll take it from there.
We're going to do this. We're going to make it.
We are. We're going to do it. Oh, yeah, there's a landslide.
Landslide.
Can we just sing?
No.
Oh, okay. You didn't know what I was going to say.
I know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to say the Fleetwood Mac landslide, or you're going to say
song.
or you're going to say the Dixie Chicks version, which is I like the Fleetwood Mac version.
I do prefer the Fleetwood Mac version.
I really do not like the Dixie Chicks version.
Dixie Chicks version is a little too upbeat, I think.
It's just too I don't know.
And twangy. It's too twangy and upbeat. It's not sentimental enough.
You just can't outdo Stevie Nicks on that song.
No. You can't outdo Stevie Nicks on a lot of
Don't even
songs.
get me started on the Smashing Pumpkins version. I mean, I like Smashing Pumpkins, don't get me wrong. But Billy Corgan, not my favorite voice in the world, does not have a good voice. And to hear him try to sing that song for
he doesn't have
Stevie
a great
Nicks
voice, you're right.
sings, I mean, he works with a lot of his other music, but
right, but with that, the cover, not so much.
No.
Okay, well, since we're not going to sing the song, let's talk about the landslide.
Okay.
There's a landslide.
Mm-hmm.
And they go sliding down the land.
Deep.
And they're trying really hard to grab onto roots.
Uh-huh.
To stop their fall. And I feel really bad. I kind of chuckled at this incident because I had a mental picture.
I knew you'd chuckle at it.
I totally chuckled.
I was like, Greta's totally going to chuckle at this.
I felt really bad because I know it must be super scary. I used to go sledding with my cousins on this ginormous hill up in the Poconos, and it was frightening, and we could even control the sled. So I can't even imagine going down a hill, and that was snow too, so there weren't even any rocks. Goodness. So it's super scary, even on smooth snow with no rocks. So, and on a sled you can control. So I can't even imagine on a mountain with huge boulders, right? And trees and nothing to smooth the way and nothing to help you steer. I think that would be really, really frightening. But it's really funny to think about these fat dwarves, right? Rolling down this hill. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So I bet you chuckled too. So don't make me feel like a bad person. So yeah. I forget what started the landslide though.
Well, I think it's just one of those things that happens when you're where they are.
Yeah, because of the way the landscape is.
Let's see here. Well, I do know that Bilbo was hungry.
He was hungry.
And all I could find was some wild strawberries.
And sorrel. What is sorrel?
I have no idea. I
think it's a kind of grass. I think.
Would you eat it? I guess if you were really hungry,
if you were really hungry. Oh, I think it's an herb, actually. I think.
It's not really going to do you much good.
Well, no, but maybe it's better than nothing. But it says that they...
it just says they started going down the hill where a landslide had happened before, and it sounds like it started another landslide.
Just because of the way the landscape was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the end of the landslide, they end up in this field, right? In this grove.
Yeah.
Right? And then they think they're okay, but then the wolves appear. Or they hear wolves.
Bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it probably sounded meaner than that. Because these are really bad wolves.
Don't make me do my mean wolf voice.
Okay, fine. Just imagine that meaner, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So...
It'll give people nightmares. You don't want me to do that.
It was a howl. It was a long, shuddering howl. That's what it says. And then it was answered by another one, and another one, and another one. And then they realized...
Guys, I'm just sorry for this episode.
What? We're talking about it.
You're doing a good job.
Why did you just apologize to everyone then?
I just feel like we're just got going, and then...
Okay, I was going somewhere with that. I was going.
Go ahead.
You know what? I want you to lead this.
No, I really want to hear what you had to say.
Well, what I thought was interesting was that Bilbo realizes that even his magic ring is not going to help him now. Because wolves don't even need to see. They can just smell.
Ooh. That's a good one.
So that is bad news. But it's smart Gandalf who tells them to climb the trees.
Climb the trees.
Climb the trees. When in doubt, climb a tree, except in a lightning storm. Then you don't want to climb a tree.
Right.
So they climb the trees and just...
I like that they leave Bilbo behind.
I know! What is up with that?
And then Dory is all like, I can't be always carrying burglars on my back. And we're like, we know, Dory, because you dropped him last time and just left him there. It does make note that Dory, even though he had a propensity to drop hobbits and leave them for the goblins to kill, was really a decent fellow in spite of his grumbling.
Right. And so he actually climbs out of the tree. I don't know that I would have climbed out of the tree. If there was wolves coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough to climb a tree the first time. I don't know that I would have climbed back down. So that really says something about Dory's character.
Right. Yeah, he helps Bilbo into the tree, and then he gets in the tree. He's the last one. So
He is the last one.
Dory does the right thing.
And he almost doesn't make it.
I know.
Which is, speaks even higher to his bravery.
So look, these aren't actually wolves. We find out that they're wargs. And
in this chapter, do we find out that they're wargs?
Yeah, it says right there that they're wargs.
Where?
But even the wild wargs, for so the evil wolves over the edge of the wild were named.
Oh, yep, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. I did find an interesting note in the annotated Hobbit about
wargs?
About wargs.
Awesome.
Wargs.
Cool.
Here's what it says. On page 146 of my copy, and I assume all copies. Note 9 of chapter 6. Tolkien described his use of warg in a letter to Gene Wolfe of November 7th, 1966, who apparently Gene Wolfe is actually a well-known fantasy and science fiction writer. Now, he says, "And an old warg is an old word for wolf, which also had the sense of an outlaw or hunted criminal. This is its usual sense in surviving texts. I adopted the word, which had a good sound for the meaning, as a name for this particular brand of demonic wolf in the story." Tolkien derived the word from Old English verg, Old High German varg, Old Norse varger, also wolf, especially of a legendary kind. So I thought it was cool that it has not only this sense of wolf, but also had the sense of an outlaw or hunted criminal.
Yes.
Yes. So there's more to it than just like this wild animal.
Right.
It is it's associated with criminal types. So bandits, So there's a more of a personality to these wolves than there might be to simply like wild wolves.
So these guys are like the Jesse James of wolves.
Sure, if that works for you.
Totes works for me.
Why wouldn't they be the Billy the Kid?
Well, Billy the Kid works too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who was the birthplace that we saw?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. I thought it was Jesse James, but now I'm not so sure.
I don't think it was Jesse James.
Where was that? Was that in Utah?
It was in Utah. Yeah. We were just driving on our trip out west last spring. We drove by just like randomly. We were on some road, not the highway, but some off-road in Utah. Beautiful country, so like kind of central southern Utah. And we drove by this place, and it's like... It
was Butch Cassidy.
Butch Cassidy, that's right. Butch Cassidy, birthplace of Butch Cassidy. Just like random place. And so no one was there. Just like, here's where Butch Cassidy was born.
We didn't even know, like, we didn't even have it, like, on our itinerary. Like, we were just driving, and we saw a sign. We were like, oh, what's that sign say? And they were like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty cool. Little cool thing that happened to us right there. So, yeah, these are the Butch Cassidys.
Butch Cassidy of wolves.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with them.
No, I wouldn't want to mess with a wolf, really.
No, not any kind of wolf. So that's like even, because wolf, just a basic wolf is scary, right? Even just basic wolves are predators, right? So then you take that and you add a criminal dimension to it. I mean, that's like...
Yeah, and it makes
really
me wonder
scary.
now, and this is not something I looked up. I'm going to grab my copy of Tolkien's letters right here and try and do a research on the fly. But it makes me wonder, because like when we get to the spiders of Mirkwood and like Shelob, they're all descended from Ungoliant, right?
Right.
So it makes me wonder if like the wargs are descendant from like Karkaroth or if they were just created by like descended from other like giant wolves created by...
Karkaroth was the one in Baron and Luthien, right?
Right. The one that bites off Baron's hand.
That's a good thought.
So I should have thought to look that up.
Yeah. Do you want me to like talk a little bit more while you look that up?
Sure. Just try and delay for us.
And then?
Yeah. Filibuster.
Filibuster. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're all in the trees now, and the wolves start attacking, right? They start trying to get up the trees.
Excellent point.
And Gandalf is genius.
Yeah.
He
Gandalf,
starts throwing fireworks or like fiery spells, right? And wolves, as we know,
pine cones,
lit pine cones, right? Yeah. So like pine cone firebombs.
Right.
Yeah. which is just awesome in and of itself.
Not only will they kill you, but they smell good while they're
They
doing
smell
it.
good while they do that. A nice piney scent.
That's right.
Smells like Christmas.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Okay. Anyway, so wolves are super scared of fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like getting burned up. Plus, they're starting to retreat because there's fire everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out that they had actually pre-planned a meeting with the goblins. So that was bad timing for the company.
Yes. I have bad news. I'm back from my excursion. I have bad news. I was unable to find a connection between Karkaroth and the Wargs.
You didn't look very hard.
Well, I did my best.
You just wanted to get back to leading the episode. I was doing too good of a job, and you're afraid I was going to take your job.
I'm going to give the old Tolkien Gateway a gander here, and see if we can gather anything more from them.
Okay. So then the goblins show up, and goblins are not afraid of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So things start looking pretty bad.
Yeah.
For the company, actually, because they start turning the fire. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what happened?
Well,
the goblins find a way to set the trees on fire.
Yes. So what they do, the goblins, they work to prevent the fire from spreading away from the trees. And they kind of, you ever seen what they'll do, what people will do when they're trying to stop a fire out in a field or something like that? They'll scorch an area in front of where the fire is spreading to, and that'll keep the fire from spreading further. Right. They'll deliberately burn a place so that it has nowhere to go that way.
Nowhere to go.
Right?
Got it. Okay.
So instead it goes back towards the trees and starts, I think they get a bunch of stuff under the trees too. And then that stuff starts burning up into the trees.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
So that's my poor explanation of how that works.
No, that totally makes sense, though.
I don't see anything on the Tolkien Gateway either, so.
Huh. Well.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. All right. So, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So I was just going to say, so now the company is stuck up in the trees, and the fire is quickly climbing the trees to where the company is. And it seems that all is lost.
All is indeed lost.
Well, so it appears.
So it appears?
It appears.
Usually when all is indeed lost in Tolkien, you can expect
a eucatastrophe.
And usually with eucatastrophes, there are
eucatastrophic moments.
and those eucatastrophic moments, it usually involves
salvation.
And that salvation usually comes in the form of
eagles.
All right, we got there. I was thinking you might actually say bagels for some reason.
Bagels.
I don't know why. That was a weird thought.
That was a weird thought.
I think this is going for our weirdest episode ever.
I don't even know what's going on.
There's this is just one of those chapters. There's not a lot of deep stuff to talk about.
No,
we already
not.
said that though. We're moving on.
But
We're moving on. We're doing
exciting.
a good job. We are doing a good job.
This is what I think is funny. This the Lord of the Eagles, he's like, what is all this uproar in the forest tonight?
Oh, that reminds me. We skipped over the part where it talks about the wolves talking to one another. The wargs talking to one another, right?
Oh, that is important.
I thought that was interesting.
That is.
So that's another note that these aren't your average natural wolves, right?
But they're not using words, are they?
Yeah, it says...
Oh, wait, Gandalf can understand them.
Gandalf can understand them, but it says the leader, the great gray wolf, spoke to them in the dreadful language of the wargs. Gandalf understood it, Bilbo did not, but it sounded terrible to him, and as if all their talk was about cruel and wicked things, as it was. And that's how Gandalf learns about their meeting with the goblins.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Yes, no, that's very important.
But I thought it was really fascinating that the wargs have a language that can be understood by Gandalf.
Yeah.
Of course, he is a Maiar, so that helps him.
Right.
And I guess maybe all animals have languages that they use with each other, that are difficult for humans. Not in the same way that humans have language, but they aren't talking Shakespeare to one another, but they're they are communicating somehow with one another. But I feel like this is more of a there's a deeper level than that form of language going on here,
Right.
A
deeper level
than like just dogs barking at each other or something.
Oh,
like that,
right. Yeah, no, I agree. Is the Eagles' language the same, but can Bilbo understand the Eagles? I can't remember. Or is that a language that only?
Well, it says that Gandalf has a conversation with him, right? Let's see.
I can't remember.
So it says that towards the end of the chapter, it says, the Lord of the Eagles also was there and was speaking to Gandalf. This is after they're rescued from the trees, right?
Right.
And it says the Lord of the Eagles also was there and was speaking to Gandalf. So it sounds like... and there's another part. Soon another eagle flew up. The Lord of the Eagles bids you to bring your prisoners to the great shelf, he cried, and was off again. So it sounds like they do speak.
Yeah. A language that
can be
everyone
understood.
can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the common
cool.
speech, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah, I mean, again, these are more than just, I mean, these are like Gandalf's, eagles, right?
Okay.
These are the great eagles. So it would seem fitting that they're like the Ents in that way, right? They have a larger, more significant role than just natural, like kind of your plain old run of the mill,
right?
Birds of prey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
yeah, cool.
Yeah, totally.
So they're disturbed. The eagles are disturbed by all this ruckus, and so they go to see what's happening.
Yeah,
and they don't like what they see.
Nor do they like what they hear. The song of the goblins.
Yeah. Those were not nice songs.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Yeah, they're kind of making fun of them. 15 birds and 5 fir trees. Their feathers were fanned in a fiery breeze. But funny little birds, they had no wings. So what shall we do with the funny little things? Roast them alive or stew them in a pot? Fry them, boil them, and eat them hot?
Are there 15 of them?
Yeah, because there's 13 dwarves, Gandalf, and then
That's
Bilbo.
right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Burn, burn, tree and fern, shrivel and scorch, a fizzling torch, to light the night for our delight. Yay, hey! Bake and toast 'em, fry 'em and roast 'em, till beards blaze and eyes glaze, till hair smells and skins crack, fat melts and bones black, and cinders lie beneath the sky. So dwarves shall die, and light the night for our delight. Ya hey, ya Harry hey, ya hoy. Yikes.
Yikes. So, but then the eagles come as we already said.
And they really come at like the last possible moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gandalf is literally like in the top of the tree.
It's providential.
It is totally providential.
Right. Yeah, and of course, I like that Bilbo again escapes grasping Dory's ankles.
Yes.
So
poor guy. He's got to have a complex at this point.
He always seems to be left behind, right?
And yet he keeps trucking.
Keeps on trucking.
He doesn't give up.
Mm-mm. Well, he can't. It would be unwise of him to do so.
It would be unwise. Yeah.
But he does. To be fair, he does.
Yeah.
Keeps on trucking.
He does keep on trucking. Yeah. So it's there was one part in here.
Well, there's a good little proverb here. You ought not to be rude to an eagle when you are only the size of a hobbit and are up in his eyrie at night.
Yes. You should add that to your list of commandments.
Yes.
Yep.
It's already a full list.
Eyrie.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty high up in an eyrie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Where eagles nest. I'm checking that word to make sure I'm saying it right.
No,
I think I am.
I think that's correct.
I think it is too. Not etry.
So that was a long chapter that ended on a very positive, exciting note.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get this.
Oh.
Airy.
Oh, is it airy?
I don't think that's right.
I thought it started with an E.
No, it is.
Oh, I always thought
all the dictionaries. How would Tolkien have said it? That's what I want to know.
With his British accent? That didn't sound all British. Sorry.
I wasn't going to comment.
Okay. I just did it for you.
Choose a language. Well,
are you spelling that properly? Does it start with an A?
Yeah, this is what came up when I put it in. When I put in the right.
Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it started with an E. Oh, UK. There you go.
Yes.
See, we were saying it right. No.
Those
British English is better on this one.
stupid Yanks. Man, they always say those words.
Irie.
Weird. Erie?
That's
What?
a lake. That's a city in Pennsylvania.
Seriously.
Irie. Irie.
Erie.
Irie.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Let's go have some tea, governor.
Tea. In the Irie?
Oh.
Or on the ground?
I feel like we walk a thin line every time we do that, and like our British listeners are gonna get
I know.
mad at us.
We do it because we're jealous.
I know.
We want a British accent.
We also like making fun of each other trying to do these accents. That's really what we're trying to do. But
yeah.
And also just like silly characters.
It's really amazing to me how how actors and actresses
I know
can just pull off a perfect accent for an entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they have like retakes and stuff like that, but still.
Or like entire series.
Right.
TV series.
I know. Or like how British people can sound not British.
I still remember
watching movie.
I still remember watching all of Battlestar Galactica, the TV show, like the newer TV show, and realizing that the character that played the guy that played Lee Adama, the younger Adama, like he talks like he's basically talks like he like an American would.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he's Australian. Like you see interviews with him, and he's like,
yeah, he's got a really thick accent.
and I was like, that's bizarre. It felt really bizarre.
Yeah,
But
it's amazing that they can do that.
I feel like you never see it go. I feel like you see it happen all the time. Going like British or Australian actors are able to pull off an American accent, but I don't feel like I ever see it go the other way. Like Americans don't seem to pull off like
agreed
British accents.
Agreed. Of course, there are always exceptions.
I'm sure there are.
To that rule.
Okay. So, yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention in this chapter was, I liked this part because they end up eating, and Bilbo's all like, man, it would have been great to have some bread and butter rather than bits of meat toasted on sticks. But hey, you take what you can get.
Exactly.
But then it says, but all night he dreamed of his own house and wandered in his sleep into all his different rooms, looking for something that he could not find nor remember what it looked like. It's just like, it's a weird way to end the chapter. Weird little dream. He's looking for something, but he doesn't know what it is. Like, what? Why did Tolkien include that?
Must be foreshadowing.
It may be foreshadowing to later in the chapter, or to later in the book.
Right.
But it doesn't immediately strike me. Having read the book before, it doesn't really strike me as to what that's alluding to. Maybe it has something to do with the ring.
Maybe he just feels lost.
Maybe
he's just, you know how you like go into a room sometimes and you just like, you can't remember why you're there, but you know you had a purpose.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of like think back, okay, retrace your steps. I was doing this and then I thought this, and so now I'm here. What was I going to do?
Yeah, he's probably reached a level of exhaustion here.
Probably
where he's just
has.
like, what am I even doing here anymore?
Yeah. And so I think it may just be just kind of, how he's feeling, like his dream playing out his emotions.
Yeah, maybe. I like the idea too that maybe it has something to do with the ring, that it's already starting to kind of mess
do
with
its
him.
thing.
Yeah. Disorient him in some strange way.
Maybe.
Because he hasn't really given it thought since he took it off, it seems like. So I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it, but maybe we'll find out in the next chapter. I also want to say that I really like the illustration in here of the Misty Mountains looking west from the Eyrie towards Goblin Gate. I love Tolkien's illustrations. They're not the most like impressive art, like I guess in terms of technical artistic skill, but I just like his style, like the uniqueness of his style. It's very self-taught, but it's unique, and it has this kind of weirdness to it.
Yeah, it's perfect for the landscapes in this book.
Yeah. I guess that's what I'm getting at, is I just really like, it's, you can tell that he's an amateur artist trying to describe what he sees in his mind's eye.
Yeah.
Which maybe he's better at doing with words, but there's also just a fairy tale-ish sort of quality to these landscapes as well. Like, I don't know how to put it, but they're not perfect artistic landscapes, but they have an otherworldliness to them,
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm getting at. Maybe is the otherworldly quality to them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
simplistic though too.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just liked the drawing here and wanted to mention that.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I like that there's an eagle in it.
Yep.
All right.
Okie dokie. So let me get the old haiku song queued up here. There we go.
There it is. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 syllables in haiku.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 syllables in haiku.
Drop the mic. Walk away.
But not before you say your haiku.
Not before you say your haiku. That's right.
All right.
Oh, wait. Okay. I'm ready. Here we go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, darn it.
Boom.
You win.
You go first.
All right. I'll go first. My haiku for chapter 6 of The Hobbit. When all seems lost, like bacon riding on wings, the company becomes.
I liked the part about bacon.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was a funny little thought in there that Bilbo had. He's like, well, now I know what bacon feels like when it's when it's quickly plucked out of the pan or whatever he said. Remember what he's getting?
And then doesn't Dory say something back to him?
Yeah, I had it pulled up and then I lost it. Hold on, I got it right here. He says, now I know what a piece of bacon feels like when it is suddenly picked out of the pan on a fork and put back on the shelf. And then he says, no, you don't, he heard Dory answering, because the bacon knows that it will get back in the pan sooner or later, and it is to be hoped we shan't. Also, eagles aren't forks.
Right.
Well, dang, Dory. Way to get all logistical.
Sounds kind of like political discourse in this country right now. Yeah.
Also, eagles aren't forks.
You're an idiot.
And then Bilbo's like, "Oh no, not a bit like storks. Forks, I mean."
Right.
Like what?
I know they're just they're just slap happy at this point.
They've got to be. I mean, they're euphoric from being saved from a certain death, right? But they're exhausted from the ordeals of the last few days,
right?
And they're flying through the air on the back of a ginormous eagle. I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm sure they're just. Yeah, slap happy is probably the best way to put it.
Bacon on wings.
Bacon on wings.
All right. Here's mine.
Okay.
Far over misty mountains now they are, and yet still so far away.
So far away from me. It's okay. It's all right. It's a little generic.
It's no bacon on wings.
You're right. I feel like you could do that haiku for a couple different chapters. It's too nebulous. It's too what's the word?
Maybe you can just write my haiku for me next time, Greta.
Maybe I will.
Very well.
I can't really think of the word. It's just not specific enough. What's that word?
I believe the word you're thinking of is awesome.
I don't think that's it. But I'll let you think
generic.
generic. I thought there was a better word for that. Nondescript. Boom. That's what it was. Nondescript. Okay. Anyway, let's end this.
I'm just not even going to respond to that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to end it.
Okay. Well, next episode, we'll be discussing Peter Jackson's The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it's time for that already.
Film episode. Yep.
Yay.
So that's next.
Awesome.
So we got to watch it first.
Yep.
It's been a while since we watched it. And then we'll talk about it.
Sounds like a plan.
'Cause that's what we do.
That's what we do.
All right. Well, thanks again to our patrons. Y'all rock. Our executive producer, Sharon Burgess, as well as Chuck Farnung, David Dickinson, Bill Richardson, Katie Knorr, Al Taylor, Joseph Maimone, Michael Martini, Brian Orr, Emilio Perea, Eric Bissett, Kelly Knotts, Amanda Kaiser, Kate Watts, Daniel Delaney, Chris Loftus, Gianni Diamaya, Per Brenner, and William Sutherland. I feel like, Joseph, every time I say your last name differently, I'm sorry. I need to, cause I need to reach out to you and find out the right way to say your name. I'm sorry about that, man. I should know by now.
You really should.
I'm going to send him a note right after this.
Okay.
And
check your inbox, Joseph.
Maybe he'll be funny and refuse to tell me, so that I just have to keep on guessing every time. That'd be kind of funny, actually.
That would be funny.
Anyway, he seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as do you all of our listeners. You all
of
seem
our
like good
listeners
people.
are the best.
Mm-hmm. Just the fact that you listen to us means you're amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Nope.
Okay.
I have nothing.
All right. Good.
So, yeah.
That's a wrap.
Except I wanted to say thank you again to all of our patrons because they're the best. And we'll look forward to talking at you next time.
Indeed, we shall.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Please remember to check out truemyths.org and TolkienRoad.com for show notes and plenty of other Tolkien goodness. Also, if you're enjoying the podcast, please leave the Tolkien Road a rating and feedback on iTunes or your podcast app of choice, and stop by our Facebook page to say hey. On the next episode, we'll discuss Peter Jackson's The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Please send correspondence to TolkienRoadPodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and until next time, the road goes ever on.